Should I play easy or should I play hard? Easy as the old stages, hard as the new stages. Make fun of, but also genuinely enjoy. Yeah, I've never played it. I'm familiar with it as one of those many PlayStation 1 survival horror games. Alright, so we have all 8 colors for Clint now. I did check, and each character gets a max of 8. But we only have 7 for Annie, so I guess we should play as Annie. Unlock that last color, get the big Chivo. Alright, so I like black hair, Annie. I do prefer playing as Clint. I find his slower movement makes me, or helps me control my position better. The differences are subtle. Compared to the Super Nintendo version, you can see, like, the spawning of the enemies in this version, it's a lot slower. It's a lot more one at a time. There's not as much overlap between waves. The widescreen is nice, but I'm so used to the scrolling or the camera panning that it doesn't make much difference to me. And also, don't forget, this version does pan the camera still. Weapon power up. There it is. The grenade is kind of nerfed in this version. Not too badly, but it's not quite as powerful as it used to be. Alright, so since we have grenade, let's see if I can milk some bullets from this guy. Grenade is a little bit better for milking, but yeah, not really. Still, usually some get through. Yeah, so when he jumps away from you, he always does the aimed shot, or the aimed salvo. And you can block that, even if you don't have a power-up, you can block that just by shooting at his near hand. And when he puts one hand out, that means he's going to do the hit scan attack. And when he puts both hands out without jumping, that means he's going to do the double three-way spread. And you can shoot those down by... well, you can shoot one half of it down by shooting at one of the hands, and then try to jump out of the way. Or you can just double jump or roll out of the way with that spread. This screen, I'd say, is definitely harder in this version. There's more these tumbling cowboys, but there's also more to score on here. You never want to stand in front of those red robots. They'll shoot a stream of bullets that is not terribly blockable. If you didn't notice, there was a hidden bomb in one of the rooftop silos, or whatever, in the previous screen. So this is a really early Vulcan, because I took a little bit of time to milk bullets from the stage 1 boss. I mean the screen 1 boss, stage 1. Don't go for money bags when you're learning how to play the game. Ignore them. You can lasso this guy, you don't really need to. Yeah, I got the money bag, but I barely got any of the money from it. And there's one more destructible, like that electrical box on the right side of the screen is also destructible and has an item inside of it. For this guy, generally you want to stay on his left side, but not right in front of his gun hand. well, you can stay in the center, actually. The gun fires in 2 movements. He fires, takes a step, fires while taking a step again. Each time it's targeted towards you. So you gotta be careful about jumping straight over it, because it'll loop back towards you. When he lifts up the car, he always does that with his the hand on the right, his left hand, but the one on the right side of the screen. And he will only do that if you're near that hand, and you just walk to the left to get away from it. Very easy to avoid, has a huge windup. He was very friendly that time. He got stuck in a loop trying to take steps on the left-hand side of the screen. Doesn't normally happen. Oh yeah, I don't believe that this fits in the steampunk genre. It makes me cringe a little bit when people say that. This is Weird West, or a sci-fi western for sure. Ultra West, yeah, you could call it that. But I'd heard it called Weird West back in the 2000s. For like this, Trigun. It's not a lot of other examples of it, but... The flying ship, I like to get that out of the way as soon as possible. The only reason to save it is basically you'll score enough points in this game that you get 2 extra lives per stage. So as long as you don't die twice in every stage, you'll be gaining lives as the game goes on, gaining or building up a stock of reserve lives. Even if you do die twice a stage, you're still going to be breaking even. So, one of the reasons that you might want to save the hard stages for later is if you think that you're playing the easy stages well enough that you're going to build up a stock of lives. On the flip side, as the stages go on, you're probably going to run down on bombs because you don't get enough bombs to make up for even using 1 per stage, I think. You get about... I don't know the bomb count as well in Reloaded as I do in Super Nintendo, but in Super Nintendo you get about 5 bombs over the course of the latter 5 stages of the game, not including stage 1. So you start with 3, you pick up 2 in stage 1, so you have 5 coming into the stage select, and then you get about 3 or 4 during the stages in the select, and then you'll get 1 more in the final stage. So bombs are actually a more limited resource in the game than lives are. And because of that, you either want to know when you're going to use bombs, or if you have a large stock of lives, just prefer dying over bombing. But I'm feeling good enough. I think we've got 3 lives in stock already, so I'm feeling good enough to just go to the flying ship right away. Oh, we've got 4 in stock. I believe that in Reloaded, there is rank in the stages. Still am undecided about whether Super Nintendo has that. Because I've watched the stages side by side on hard mode, where they're taking first or last, and they're the same, but I swear that there have been times when I saw something slightly different. Yeah, I think that Reloaded scales the difficulty for whichever stages you take last. I don't know, like, don't think about it is the thing. Like, I don't think it matters enough. If you know the stages well enough, for one thing, there's definitely not more enemies. There might be... Enemies might shoot faster and more frequently. That's the only difference that there would be. But the thing is that the randomness of the weapon drops, like which enemy drops a weapon, is kind of a complicated algorithm, but it's not random. But which weapon you get is random, and the randomness of the weapon drops can really have a substantial effect on the difficulty of the stages, especially on Super Nintendo. If you get a lot of grenade guns, you're gonna have a walk in the park. The machine gun is really good, but it doesn't last for very long, so if you get a machine gun at the right time, it's gonna help you skip like a tough boss fight or something. But if you get it at the wrong time, it's basically just gonna be a waste of a weapon drop. Yeah, the original composer they got back for the remake, yeah, it's awesome. And I think the new tracks and the arranged tracks are all great. So the laser is pretty good for milking bullets, as you might imagine. So it's just a continuous stream. Come on, fire again. I didn't get many. This is about to run out. So in this stage, you really want to prioritize these propeller hat guys. They're the main threat. You're going to lasso the unicyclists, destroy the hot air balloons, don't shoot the guys riding in them, and on every other screen, just focus on the propeller guys. And Reloaded is more generous with the weapons. Those weapon pickups that fly in on like a little drone will show up during every boss fight, and I think sometimes in mid-boss fights. Again, I'm not as sure about that, but they definitely show up in every boss fight, which on Super Nintendo is only the case on normal difficulty. On hard difficulty, you don't get weapon pickups during boss fights. This is my least favorite boss in the game. Pretty good margin. So you gotta walk to the far end of the screen. You gotta really try not to shoot those shield things. You gotta keep your eye on the wingtip that's floating around so that you can actually shoot it. But also keep your eye on his chain guns, because when they start spinning up, he's about to fire hits again, and you gotta get out of the way immediately. But you also cannot stand in front of the wings, because they shoot those oscillating volleys of bullets. Alright, he's not doing any chain guns right now, which is nice. And eventually these black orbs will all simultaneously do a hit scan attack. Yeah, this guy's just too complicated. Like, they needed to just take out one layer of it. Like, get rid of the black orbs. I think it's the most obvious part. But the thing is that the shield, those orange shield orbs that are defending him at the beginning, like I said, if you shoot them, it's going to trigger a revenge attack. And it's hard not to shoot them. You would think it's easy to just aim around them, but you have to move to the side of the screen, then stay there and move your cursor all the way to the opposite side of the screen. And because this is Wild Guns, and at least with Clint and Annie, to move your cursor without moving the character, you need to be shooting. So you're always going to have to drag the cursor across those shield orbs, as far as I can figure. And because they spin around, like, you can't really navigate through. Also, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a graphical glitch this game has where the like blue highlights around the stage here, like the blue rectangle, leaves like an after shadow that never goes away even during the stages. I always stop noticing it eventually, but I don't even know if it's visible on stream. Alright, so we're flush on resources. May as well... Okay, so you also get more points for taking a stage later in the order, and each stage has a max point cap, or has a bonus cap. So, Armored Train... I don't remember exactly what the values are in Reloaded. In the original, it's 50, 70, 100, 150. In Reloaded, I think it might be 80. I think on hard it might be 80, 100, 120, 180, 200. They messed with that in a totally unnecessary way, and it drives me nuts because I can't use save states to test it out. I gotta actually take notes on it. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking about, is stage bonuses, but I think instead of overthinking it, let's just go ahead and play the underground. This stage is the second hardest, I would say. Like, the two new stages are definitely, well, for me, I find them to be the hardest. The Skyship stage, mostly because of the boss, although it does take a little bit getting used to. And certainly it's very difficult to shoot everything down in the Sky stage. And this one is... the darkness is obviously part of what makes it difficult, but it's also that the enemy traffic is pretty heavy and can get ahead of you. So if you fall behind on killing things, you're gonna have a lot floating around that you need to dodge. So yeah, this is a case where I actually do sometimes just ignore power-ups, and you gotta really be careful about those Jasons that pop out of the ground. If you're not looking at your character, those guys are darkly colored, and they will sneak up on you. Well, on me. It'd be nice if I could get a weapon power-up for the mid-boss. Yeah, you can also listen to the sound effects. You can hear the Jasons sort of emerging from the ground. So this boss, the way it works is, while they're walking around, you can shoot them, and eventually they'll fall down. When they're on the ground, you have to kill them before they stand up again. If they stand up again, they get all their HP back. This is a fun mini-boss. A lot of times, though, it does just tend to go on until you get a weapon pickup. So I think you can balance a little bit differently. But yeah, once you get a weapon pickup, it'll be over, even if you can't keep up with it. And there are more of the mummies spawn on hard difficulty. Normal. The screen isn't too bad. It's mostly just the lava throwers you gotta watch out for. So, Resident Evil monks. Their attack is a projectile. It's actually not one of the classic 3 Wild Guns attacks of bullet, lasso, or mortar. You can lasso the giant guns, makes them very easy to deal with. Yeah, see, I think there would have been more lava throwers if I had taken this stage later, regarding the rank. I think in this version, the new stages are generally better balanced than the old stages. Which, you know, they tried to rebalance the old stages, and I think they actually made them worse. So, this fight with the comb guy, I always lasso. You can see there, the lasso does cancel bullets, so if you're confident about your timing, you can interrupt when he shoots at you. This boss is kind of weird, because it has 4 weak points. The helmets, the chest plates, the head, which is currently protected by the helmet, and the heart, which is currently protected by the chest plate. As you destroy parts, he moves faster and faster. So the last thing you want to do is destroy every part. It's okay to destroy the helmet and the chest plate. Well, all you have to do... Shoot. All you have to kill to actually kill the boss is the heart. You have to destroy the chest plate to get at the heart. So if you don't like the lightning attack, you can destroy the helmet if you want. And that'll get rid of it, and he'll still move slowly enough that he's not too tough to hit. But I just leave the helmet, and he moves really slow, and just focus on the heart. That was a really dumb mistake. The lasers, so the diagonal beam of the laser, I'll show you in a second. The diagonal part of it doesn't actually hit you. This, right? The vertical column and the flame on the ground is what hits you. So it's closer to a mortar attack. Really no need to pick up that question mark. Yeah, it took me a long time to figure out that that diagonal part of the laser doesn't hit you. That's definitely bad communication there in terms of visual design. Why did I die? I died like a minute ago. Like 2 minutes ago. I got hit by one of the lasers because I moved in the wrong direction because I was being sloppy. What do you mean? Okay, so train, mine. I think that the train probably maxes out at 120. I don't know, just clip it. Clip it and post the clip in chat, and I'll explain why I died. Should be a point redeem. Clip a death and ask for an explanation. So gold mine's the easiest stage. Normally I leave it for last. I'll do the train last this time though, because I want to see if it ever goes above 120,000 points. Alright, so this is a screen that's been made a lot harder in Reloaded because they did the opposite of what they did on screen 1 of the game, which is now the enemies all spawn together at the same time instead of being all set. So the trick to it here is to lasso the Zeppelins. The Vulcan's gonna do all the work for me. Alright, at the end of the screen, I'll check that clip. It's also important to try to kill as many of those far away guys as you can, because that'll speed up this screen so it doesn't go on forever. Because each time you kill an enemy, it takes a second off the timer. That's another reason why it's important to stand your ground and try to fight as aggressively as possible in this game, because it's just gonna drag on and on otherwise. I'd like to milk some bullets here, get my Vulcan ready for the next screen. The next screen is also harder in this version. This enemy is by far the easiest to milk bullets from. If you stand at a corner of the screen, he will rarely come close enough to hit scan you. That's not as true on Super Nintendo. On Super Nintendo, he does like to get stuck in the corner with you and just hit scan over and over again. But since he has or he at least does the leap a lot more often in this version. I don't even remember if he has it on Super Nintendo. But yeah, the leap makes it easy. Just stay in the corner and shoot down his attacks. Alright, nice. Meter's almost charged, and got a weapon. Just in time for the screen transition. So we'll get a Vulcan to clear most of the screen. Let me just look at this clip that Bath took. Oh, I didn't even notice that I died. Yeah, that's a pretty BS death. That's a good one, though. Alright, back to it. So hard. I got full bombs and extra life. 6 extra life. You just gotta get that level of momentum. Like, trust me, it's easier than it feels at first. I mean, there is, you know, just getting used to the mechanics of the game and everything, which I know is something that I take for granted. Just that I've known this game for such a long time. But after that, like, you really can spare a lot of deaths. Good. Vulcan saves me from the P-gun. Also, you can choose to never pick up the question mark items if you don't want to get a P. Like, Ps will never spawn on their own. I would say it's probably better to just not pick up question marks, especially on Super Nintendo. Alright, so for this boss, the strategy is to stand in the middle and shoot down the gun arms. The thing about these is that they have 2 different attacks. It's very similar to the cowboy robot, giant cowboy. So they can shoot a 3-way spread, it's very wide, or they can shoot an aimed burst. And when they shoot the aimed burst, the aimed burst, they will only shoot if you're, like, a screen away from them. So, I'll just demonstrate it. If I go all the way over here, see, they do that. So if you stay in the middle, you'll be close enough to both of them that neither one will ever shoot one of those aimed bursts. It might be theoretically possible, but I don't know, I've never really seen it happen until I get out of position. Yeah, like, look how far away they are, and they still don't. Man, all these P's. I wasn't even paying attention. Yeah, so just stay in the middle, shoot down the gun arms. Eventually there'll be a long gap for you to shoot at the boss. And you can also just take a little opportunity here and there to shoot at the boss in between their spawns. You also don't really need to shoot them down. Their attacks are quite easy to dodge. You get a lot of points for it on Super Nintendo, but you don't get any points for them in this version. So you might just want to jump over their attacks and make that fight faster, but it's definitely safer if you just focus on shooting them down. You don't want to get lassoed here. But again, you want to just stand in the middle. You're not completely safe from the crab legs, but you are pretty safe from the crab legs in the center. Each one will only attack from, one direction. So if it shows up on your right, you can always dodge by moving to the left. And if it shows up on your left, you can always dodge by moving to the right. This, just do 2 jumps. can also lasso this guy if you want to, but it doesn't make much of a difference because at fixed damage thresholds, he always guards. And you just have to wait that out regardless. I don't want to pee. I'm going to leave it. He's easier in Reloaded than he is in the original because he doesn't shoot that full screen salvo bullets as frequently. On Reloaded, that is. That's his most dangerous attack, the bullet spread, and he doesn't do it frequently on Reloaded. Okay, so Armored Train does get all the way up to 150. So maybe there's an extra gradation where it goes 80, 100, 120, 150. And then the new stages go 100, 120, 150. No, the new stages I think go 120, 150, 180, 200. Maybe that's what Skyship does, and Underground goes 100, 120, 150, 180. That's probably how it works. Alright, Armored Train. On Super Nintendo, this is probably the hardest stage. On Reloaded, it was totally nerfed. Because the train car turrets that we'll see in a minute are much more threatening on Super Nintendo. Anything that fires mortars is always my top priority to kill. They're like those push carts. By the way, you don't have to destroy the actual mortar segments of the push cart. You can just shoot the guys pushing it, and the whole thing will die. I just shoot the individual compartments because you get more points that way. But here, kill the mortar first. And I'm going to fire at this turret. And I was a little bit slow. I didn't interrupt it before it started firing. But I was still able to block the bullets just by shooting the right spot. I would not generally try to block the bullets from those chain gun turrets. It's kind of risky. You really have to have the right spot. And because they move around, it's hard to get that consistent. You get lassoed with dynamite being thrown. When you're lassoed, is like #1 time that you want your bombs for. But yeah, you'll see, for this one, since I don't have the mortar destroy first, I'll kill it before it even shoots. Cowboy decided to shoot first. Yeah, I still, even with the dodge roll, did we get it? So its first shot should get interrupted. Yep. And alright, so I do think there's rank here, because I'm able to do this more easily when I take this stage first, which is when I normally take it. I don't normally, the dynamite and cowboys don't normally pressure me off of them. But if you're playing on normal mode, or if you take this stage first, you can just concentrate fire on the turrets, and you'll interrupt their first shot and kill them before their second shot. Here, go for the mortars first, as usual. There's a sweet spot where you can hit both at once. And then we'll use this screen to charge another Vulcan, which takes forever in Reloaded. This is much faster on Super Nintendo, but still kind of tedious. So you can fire lassos or bullets. When he glows red, means he's going to fire a bullet. Glows blue means lassos are coming. The way it works on Super Nintendo is that lassos always come before bullets, but bullets don't necessarily always come after lassos. So, like on Super Nintendo, he has 2 attacks. Attack 1 is lassos, attack 2 is lassos, then bullets. In this version, he has 2 attacks. The attacks are lasso or bullets. bullets aren't always preceded by lassos. But yeah, because it's so easy to dodge this attack, I use this place to charge up my Vulcan meter for the boss fight coming up, because it is one of the harder boss fights. Yep. This is tedious. I think 2 more red attacks should be enough. This is a case where I actually want the P-gun, because it makes it easier to milk these bullets without hitting him. And you can do it a bit riskier. Try to get more of them, but I don't know. Not worth it to me. I know most people aren't going to do this strategy, but it is a really safe way of dealing with the upcoming boss. So if you really struggle with this boss fight, this is a little trick to get out of it. Alright, so we should be able to charge up the Vulcan in this fight, although with grenade launcher it's going to be a little bit harder. That's fine. I'll take the death so I can get my regular gun back. You charge up the Vulcan off of the bullets he fires from his handgun, or the bullets that the horseback cowboys fire. And there's a charge. He's going to be a dick and use his knife. And it's enough to finish him off. So you just want to charge the meter as close to full as possible on the locomotive, so that you don't have to block too many of his shots to fill it the rest of the way up. Alright, on to the last battle. Fight with 2 of these guys is really not any different than the fight with it's just one of them. So strictly speaking, Annie isn't harder. She's just different. But I find, and pretty much everyone I've talked to, including the world record speedrunner, finds that Clint is easier to play because, okay, one thing is Annie's jump moves really far. It moves about twice as far as Clint's. And that can be helpful. I would say that that's probably neutral in terms of benefits, because gaining distance on jump isn't that important, since all the attacks in this game, or the vast majority of them, are targeted. Second thing about Annie is that her dodge roll is very short. Clint's dodge roll is twice as long. And the thing is that the dodge roll does tend to be helpful against hit scan attacks to get out at the last minute, and Annie's is not necessarily going to take you clear of everything if you're not in the right position. Yeah, that's the thing about the long jump, is that it can get you into trouble. I don't find that the long dodge has so much that problem. Other thing about her... Oh, her melee is slower? Okay, I didn't know that, but I've never had any issue with that. So the other thing about her is that she walks faster than Clint. I don't remember if their crosshairs move at different speed, but obviously your crosshair moves when you're walking. There's something you can do about that. And so Annie, relative to her crosshair, moves faster, which means that relative to Annie, the crosshair moves slower, which means it's harder to make space between the character and the crosshair, and while you're moving, that is. And that is something that a lot of times I want to do, and it's easier to do with Clint because he doesn't walk so fast. The fast walk can help you get out of trouble, but it's not really necessary because most of the attacks that you're going to be walking out of the way of are rather narrow. But for mortars, fast swap might be better. And reloaded mortars aren't a big deal. So this screen is easier in Reloaded because there are fewer spawns of the hanging turrets. They spawn almost continuously on Super Nintendo. And the widescreen kind of makes these regulators less threatening. Hopefully, we can save this Vulcan for the boss here. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to try to charge the Vulcan on one of the 6-shooter robots. There it is. And with the damage I've already done, it should be enough to finish this guy. Normally a Vulcan, or a Vulcan alone is not enough to kill this boss because he's been vulnerable for such a long time. Yeah, I didn't even do it there, even though I'd softened him up. The Vulcan's been shortened and reloaded. Not as powerful anymore. So this is a screen where I will probably almost certainly need at least one bomb. Might not. It's a grenade. Really depends on when and which weapon drop you get. Alright. So the boss of this screen, I'm definitely going to need a bomb here. Unless I get really lucky and the grenade charges my Vulcan. No, it's not gonna happen. So these flying ships move to a random location and then they do sort of a hit scan sweep. On Super Nintendo, they always spawn on top of the boss. But you can lasso them as soon as they spawn and then shoot them down. In this version, they spawn to the sides. I don't think it's random, but they spawn to the sides. And it takes a lot more management to stay away from them without getting pinned down. Would I like to learn the other characters eventually? Doris and Bullet? I don't know at this point. Every time I try them, I'm like, ugh, I hate this. Hey, Tuxedo Flask. How's it going? Thanks for dropping in. Just winding down a run of Wild Guns here. Wild Guns Reloaded. Yeah, the thing is, like, conceptually they're cool, and I like the game a lot, and would take an excuse to spend more time with it. Yeah, when I try them out, I really don't like them. I just don't enjoy it, and I just immediately want to restart and switch to Clint or Annie. And the scoring in the game is pretty fun to do, so as I spend more time with it in the future, it'll probably just be focused on scoring with Clint and Annie, not learning the other two. I mean, at some point I feel like I should at least clear normal with them. So this final boss isn't too bad, especially if you've got a few bombs saved up. Don't try to interrupt this rifle shot like I just did. It won't work consistently for you. Alright, melee finish. I love it. Clearing with continue just takes a really long time. I wouldn't want to do that. And yeah, that's the end of the game. So what do we have? 8 lives left over at the end. This might be a decent score. I really shouldn't have taken that death on the boss. 9 lives left. And a million rank bonuses for playing on hard. Alright, I think that's my new best score. 3.2 million. With either character. And thankfully they do divide the leaderboards by character, so you don't have to learn a gimmicky character you don't like for scoring purposes. But yeah, you can score a lot better than that. This is like a rank 200 type of score. Oh, thanks for coming by, Ray. It's always good to see you. And you get this cool group shot of the characters when you beat the game on hard. Pretty sure you don't see this on normal. It's been a while since I cleared Reloaded on normal, though. I would really like if they let you choose any of the stages for any of the difficulties, though. Like, give you 6 stages to pick from and only make you pick 4 of them to finish the game. But all things considered, I'm glad that they added stages, even if it's in kind of a weird way. And at least they didn't just make the game 2 stages longer. That would have been really disastrous. I hate how they made Pocky and Rocky so much longer. Alright, I'm going to save that VOD because that was a good demonstration run.